Leading and managing change. Change is a constant. It is a norm these days. And the magnitude of change is often much greater as we proceed forward in our lives. And yet change isn't always led and managed well. In fact, for the most part, it is certainly not led and managed well. Here's an 8-step process to lead and manage change so that you implement that change successfully first time. Step number 1 is analyze the need for the change. In other words, what is the problem or the issue or the area that needs to be addressed and needs to be changed? What is the fundamental need behind the change? Secondly, think about the desire, the motivation of people to do something about that change. What is the level of desire and motivation? Is there an appetite for the change or not? And also consider what resources the organisation has to deliver that change and to deliver it successfully. So need times desire times capability gives you the likely level of success in terms of thinking about that change. Give 10 points to each, the need, the desire, the capability, multiply them and arrive at a score out of 1,000. If the score is less than 500, don't proceed with the rest of the change process. Think about the issues you need to deal with before adopting these following points. Assuming the score is over a 500, therefore, step number 2 is you need to create a sense of urgency in the organisation about the change that you're planning. You need to create a burning platform. You need to spell out the facts and the figures that are causing you to have concern about the future. You need to spell out the level of pain or gain that needs to be addressed in order to get people's attention. Create a sense of urgency is step number 2. Step number 3 is build a guiding coalition. These are key stakeholders, decision makers and influencers that you need to build around you to plan and manage the change through to success. These are people that you're going to rely on very heavily as being a close working community to actually lead and manage that change through to its conclusion. They own the change. They're the sponsors of it. Step number 4, devise a change plan. What's the current situation? What's the future situation? What's the gap between the current and the future? What are the key issues to be addressed? What obstacles need to be overcome? What's the plan to overcome those obstacles? And also alongside the plan, what is the stakeholder communication plan? In other words, who needs to know what, by when and how, so that we're actually building backing for the change in the plan. Step number 5, communicate the plan to key stakeholders in small face-to-face meetings so that you can get feedback and you can get their buy-in and commitment. Step number 6, then lead and manage the implementation. Keep referring to the vision, keeping the vision alive and at the forefront of people's minds. Keep spelling out the benefits and the wins in it for them in terms of the change. And project manage different elements of the change management process. Step number 7, create change leaders at all levels of the organisation. Train them, equip them, reward them to lead and manage the change at their level, to see it through to its conclusion. And finally, step 8, and a point that's often overlooked, is anchor the change in the business. The change needs to become the new norm. It needs to become a part of the culture. And it needs to be managed and led in the future by responsible people so that the organisation doesn't slip back into its old ways. Critically important that you reward the success of people in this new future, this new norm. Anchor the change is critically important. By using this 8-step process, you will not only be able to think through and plan and communicate and deliver the change that you require, but you will also do it with the willing followership of those involved in the change, and therefore it will be a much simpler and easier process to implement.